we talk about Ja Morant? Everybody else is talking about it. I may as well get my nickel and dime in on this conversation as well. And I'm not going to be too long winded about it because I know it's going to be runt in the ground by every other sports or news media outlet. But I just want to share a perspective. And I've been listening to the stories about this since Monday. I really didn't even know it was headline news. I came across it on my Instagram feed the other day and I thought, oh, somebody's reposting or talking about, Ja and this gun business. I thought it was a repeat of his incident in Denver. Nope. A brand new take of youth and the same mistakes, right? People are talking about um, the NBA's response to conduct detrimental to the league. And I'm not going to call Josh stupid. He's 23 years old. I'm going to call him immature. There is no automatic access to maturity and money, and abundance of money. And what to do when you get said money. We all want Ja to have the intellect, the responsible intellect that goes with the realization of his stardom and the realization of his access, the realization of his platform. The brother just doesn't have it. Now, why he doesn't have it, those of us who don't know how he grew up, what foundation his parents put there for him, we don't know. I can guesstimate. Um, he's probably a little bit more arrogant than I would like to see. Every athlete needs a little bit of arrogance. You got to have that. You got to have the confidence, the esteem to perform at a high level. I get that. I just feel an energy from him through my television because that's where all the accurate energy comes from, through the television. Anyway, just my perception that he just kind of thinks, and based on one of the first things I ever heard uttered from his mouth, I think it was Jim Gray, and I could be wrong, who interviewed Ja, and he said he's a point guard, his position is point guard, but he told, I think it was Jim Gray, that he was a point god. And when he said that, I was like, oh well, he got a different kind of confidence. You call yourself a point god, meaning, you are above everyone. My point god means I'm better than. Okay, you the leader, you the head honcho of point guards, right? Point guard says to me, I look down on everyone else. Everyone else is below me. And that's kind of the way he carries himself on the basketball court, and that's kind of the way his dad idolizes him on the basketball court. Their interaction, it's almost like, the nerve of them. As I said, all athletes have this bit of arrogance and confidence. It kind of goes with the territory, but it was just a little bit more of an organic seasoning on his persona. And so I just think that maturity does not always come with age. I think Ja is very, very immature. I don't think he's had life experiences that have said to him, consequences are waiting for you around the corner, sir. We're not playing with you, sir. Because thus far, point God, where has been the no? He came into the league, became a star. In his second year, I think he was most improved player. He has been, and he's in Memphis, a small market, so he's the point guard to the Memphis Grizzlies, the Memphis Grizzly fans. So his family, it's obvious how his father feels about him. It's obvious how his father feels everybody else should feel about him. It's obvious that his father enjoys a certain bit of fame himself. He himself is kind of glorified. It's kind of glorified. His sideline persona. He's a show. So it's not surprising to me that Ja has not yet taken this life seriously. and he thinks the NBA is playing with him. Now, I'm one. I hope the young man gets it together. But you know what? Maturity doesn't come with age. And I'm not one to think that the NBA has to hold Ja's hand. I'm all about the NBA protecting its brand. So whatever penalty they lay out for the young man, I hope he gets his lesson. So, and we can move on, because at the end of the day, everybody's talking about Ja didn't break the law. Nobody's saying that Ja broke the law. Nobody that should not ever be the argument at this point. But what people should think about is, if your employer saw you on more than one occasion within the last couple of months twirling around a pistol, a gun, a bullet holder, what would they say about you in you fire at will state dwellers? What would your employers say about you? They saw you on social media more than once holding a gun. In this day and age of mass shootings, this day and age of gun violence, what would they say about you? Now, don't tell me that Ja is special because he's a multimillionaire and that he's a basketball player. He's a part of the National Basketball Association. He plays for the Memphis Grizzlies, who are a part of the National Basketball Association. That is a brand. The Memphis Grizzlies is a brand. The National Basketball Association is a brand. Ja has the privilege of participating in that arena. And so with privilege comes a responsibility. You just can't be out here doing any and everything because you are a superstar. Leagues have shown athletes more in more recent times, since the Michael Vick days, they don't care nothing about your off the field foolishness. Antonio Brown, see Michael Vick, um, see even Dwight Howard. He just kind of developed an unfortunate perception of silliness. Dwight Howard, I don't think is a bad dude at all. He just got an unfortunate perception of silliness. But the NBA in particular, the NBA, out of the four major sports, in one, I can't even count the four major sports: football, baseball, basketball, hockey. The Latino demographic kind of is the majority of baseball. I feel like it's safe to say that. Hockey, majority white guys. Football and basketball are overwhelmingly black players. The NBA are maskless black players. The NFL players are in helmets. They're in shoulder. They got all kinds of get up on you. You don't know NFL players. Not a bunch of it. Not the majority of people. The majority of people do not know the face of NFL players because they're always in helmets, unless they're like the superstars. Your star receivers, your star quarterbacks, a few kickers, and maybe some star line or some defensive players. But the majority of NFL players can probably walk around and not be recognized. They might say, "Oh, that's a large person, but I don't know who he is." And so no harm, no foul. But NBA players are seen, known. A lot of them are in commercials. A lot of them have signature shoes. It's a different ball game. The NBA is black culture. It's black culture. And because of that, the NBA has to do a little bit more crowd control, because there are a lot of people who, you know, hey, people started pulling back from the NFL over Colin Kaepernick, and the NFL is king, right? Colin Kaepernick brought his protest to the stage in the NFL, and people were like, "Hey, we don't want to see all this. I feel a particular way about a flag. I feel a particular way about my country." And you know, voices were not heard, positions were not understood. There was communicative noise in between the two sides. Still is to this day. Now, I have always been on the side of I support the NFL protecting their brand. Do I think Colin Kaepernick should have been given an opportunity to play? Sure. But do I think Colin Kaepernick would have kneeled if he was a starting quarterback? Nope. I don't. I think he would have found another way to protest. The NFL was not siding with police brutality. The NFL had no part in supporting and condoning police brutality. It was an opportunity for Colin Kaepernick to show, um, you know, uh, bring awareness to his cause. And the NFL tried to hang in there with that young man, but once it started to affect their brand, they were like, "Okay, listen, we're gonna give you some money and a lot of money here. Go forth and conquer. But let's take this away from our platform, our stage." I supported that because if I had a business and somebody was upset with the Jack in the Box down the street, and I am, you know, um, the owner of another business, I don't necessarily want the traffic of you protesting the Jack in the Box down the street in front of my store. It's not. I, I don't. So I supported the NFL and I support the NBA and however they decide to deal with Ja Morant. Because let's be real about this. There are a lot of people still, admit it or not, consciously or not, they feel a certain kind of way about NBA athletes because it is for the most. I don't even know if I'm comfortable saying for the most part, but it is a lot of black culture on display. It just is, and there are people who are comfortable with being uncomfortable with what they don't understand. That means I don't like you, I don't understand you, and I'm comfortable feeling that way. No insults intended. I don't get you. I don't have to get you, but I know I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with it. And I think that is a large part of the cultural divide, the racial divide. People are cool with not understanding what they don't understand, or people are cool without having relationship with what they don't have relationship with. There's not a lot of intentful effort intentful effort to bridge the gap. And the NBA has had its black eye with the Malice in the Palace some years back. And you can believe that there are people who do not watch the NBA because there's a perception on these young black men, not all black, but the majority of these black men, you know. I've heard somebody say this recently at in corporate America to me, NBA players are just thugs. Now, I'm not sure if this individual who's in a position of power realizes the power of what they said, but it was said to me. This was not long ago. And they do not watch it because they do not want to watch a bunch of thugs. Now, Ja, you bouncing to your rap music with a pistol in your hand, catering to the stereotype. It bothers me because there's so many good guys out here trying to make a way in a life and they just really love playing basketball. But the culture of rap music promotes this nonsense to me. And my wife loves rap music. I'm not a big fan. Um I just rap music has changed from, my taste buds of rap music is Run DMC, Nelly. I kind of like a little bit of Post Malone, but I don't know any. I do like Ti, but I don't have any Ti music on my phone. I think I just like his older man personality, his more mature personality. I like him. But I don't know any Lil Wayne music just off the top of my head. I wouldn't know Lil Baby if he walked by me. I don't listen to rap music. And part of the reason is because I don't like the culture. I don't like what they promote. I don't like what they I'm just not down with the narrative of it. And you know, rappers want to be athletes, athletes want to be rappers, and Ja's just kind of immature and caught in the middle. He's not had to deal with consequences of loss But I guarantee you it's gonna get real to him now. You looked the commissioner in the face 2 months ago, said, Commish, I'm sorry. And you said you were stressed out. I didn't really believe that, but whatever. It wasn't up to me to hand out suspensions and forgiveness. But I think they're gonna make sure you take it seriously this time. Um, and endorsements to be lost, you know, but it's just immaturity. I said all that to say too, I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's an immature guy. There are grown people who have won the lottery or Powerball millions, and have blown it all. And it had nothing to do with anything but an immaturity or an inability to recognize a situation for what it was. Age and maturity are not the same thing. And we know that just from the general knowledge of the way boys and girls age and mature. So the all of this, he should know better. Well, why should he? How do we know what his upbringing was like? How do we know what his parental instruction and foundation was like? We do not know. Only thing we know is behavior. And his behavior says to me he's immature. And he's just 23 years old. Now, do I sympathize? I'm not sure. Honestly, I want him to get it. I think he's a good dude. Just did something silly and just hasn't really been faced with the possibility of loss, of not having. He's not had to see that. He's not, he doesn't give me any impression that he looks up to anyone other than himself and maybe his father. But there are guys in the league who are sponges for knowledge. They have, they're sort of veteran mentors. I don't think that there's anybody in that locker room who can mentor him. Anybody in that locker room who he looks at that says, I want to be like this person. I don't think so. Um, and so I think we cut him some slack with regard to, his ability to make a better decision on after learning some things. But all that aside, I think that I want the NBA to preserve its image for the 5-year-old bouncing a basketball in his driveway today. 15 years from now, I want the league to be around and thriving for his entry, or for the next kid, or for the 10 years before that. I don't think the jaws of the world should be protected. I mean, yeah, we don't all get grace based on, grace is just not fair all the time. So I hope Ja gets it, but if he doesn't get it, I guarantee you it won't happen again. Gatorade money, Powerade money, all NBA money, all of that it might be out the door. The only thing you have left is your still signed NBA contract. And sir, conduct detrimental to the league, you can lose that too. So that's my thought on Ja Morant. Immaturity. People stop killing the kid and thinking he's supposed to have something that some adults don't even have. There's some immature adults walking around here with less. Immature adults walking around here with more. Immature. Age and maturity don't walk hand in hand. One does not grant access to the other. That is an inner thing. That's an inner work. That is a life experience. That's a movement based on your perception. So yeah, I think Ja's got some growing up to do. People have got some growing up to do. So, but that's my take on that. This is just kind of a, what do we want to call this thing? Just kind of a little extra seasoning in between programmings, you know? So I just want to get some thoughts out there, give some different perspective. Let's hold back. Let's not kill the young man for being silly. Poor choice. Don't think the young man thinks he's a gangster and a hip hop soldier. He just faking and shaking. So just a little extra seasoning in between episodes. Hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Seekers Podcast. Appreciate it.